I sure hope there weren't any mistakes in that episode, but we'll find out when my mom, Mrs. Monica, comes in and tells us what was wrong. What?
Nothing.
Talk to me.
No, nothing.
Off the record, talk to me.
No, everything's great.
Everything's golden.
It's just busy.
Busy. Yeah, you had to not come to a movie last night.
I know. Was it great?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah.
I'm sad about that. It was the right decision. I will say that.
Yeah.
But I do really want to see it, but I'll just see it in the movie theater.
I wonder if you'll see it earlier than that. But yes, you would. Well, let me ask you. No, I can't ask you because then we
don't want to give it away. But we have a guest coming up that we are.
People are kind of guessing.
Whatever.
Okay.
We're so excited about.
Yeah.
And
scared.
Has been a long time coming and is a scary one.
It was scary.
And we were invited to see a movie
that
early.
She's in.
We're excited. We were invited to see a project early. And the
timing was great because my brother and sister-in-law are visiting and I got to seem like a real shooter. Like, hey, do you want to come to the screen with me? It's a movie they're dying to see. So it felt like I was so cool.
You're the cool brother.
I felt cool for those 2.5 hours.
Yeah. But I had to miss it because of work. And yeah, it's just a busy week. We're heading into the summer.
Have I publicly thanked you already about editing? I mean, I try to occasionally, but I'm in a wave right now of really having renewed gratitude, right? Because I'm editing and it's miserable. Editing's miserable. It's absolutely miserable.
There are days. So yesterday I was going to edit 2.
Uh-huh.
And I was in 1 and I started at 1:30 and I ended at 6. And I was like, I actually, like, I can't do it. I can't do another one. And I don't think if you haven't edited, you don't understand that feeling. It's like, well, you could have pushed yourself and you could have, but your brain will shut down.
Well, I'll add too, and do you have this experience? So I'll do these chunks on days off we don't have. I try to do 2 episodes in those days.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's like 7-8 hours of editing.
Yeah.
And what happens is, for me, I slowly start hating everything I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just like, I don't know, towards the end, I'm like, just cut everything. I don't want to hear anyone ever talk again. And so, like, you're wondering if the decisions you're making are the same at the end of the episodes they were at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you probably don't have that because you do it so much.
Yeah. I don't have that because there is no there's no end, right? Like you're editing a project that's
I'm doing 12.
You're doing 12.
And there's an end in sight.
There's an end in sight. So I could almost see that being in some ways worse because it's like, I gotta be done with this
I haven't
part.
accepted that I have to do this.
Yes.
Yeah, there's still that
But it is funny that you brought that up and we're talking about it because I'm also, as I warned you on the last fact check, I think, I am PMSing this week.
Of this week? I thought that was next week.
Nope, this week.
Okay, so right now
the period will start hopefully on Friday.
Do you have your Nixies?
I have my
your
Nixies ready to go.
They're laid out like a flat man. They're just stacked up, ready to go.
Wait. Yeah, they're prepped and ready, folded.
They're on deck.
Yeah, but along with the Ziploc baggies.
You got to have them.
I don't want to be on the record saying I don't do that because I don't need it.
I did, though.
But it's great for people.
So it was a very polarizing debate, and people landed on all sides of it.
Uh-huh.
Some people agreed with me. Most people agreed with you.
What did they agree with you? What did they say?
Like, I would be way more embarrassed about undies falling out than tampons, which, some people are like, fuck no. There's much more. But a lot of people were like, I flow heavier than Monica. Like, I can't get away with one.
I understand that. I've heard that as an explanation for why you should use the cup.
If you got a ton of.
So anyway.
I would see that as a sign of great health. Just my proclivities.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how I would deal with having a menstrual cycle because my greatest days are like a day, and one just happened where it's like, I go number 2.
Oh my God.
And it's so robust.
Of course.
Where I go, I must not have been going the last couple of days. This is like, where did all this come from? I love that. or a big booger.
Okay.
Or a big,
okay. Listen, part of that's because then you feel better after. Like you feel lighter. That doesn't happen on a period. It's not like you had a heavy flow and now you feel better.
Yeah.
But I will say, so thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah.
I do struggle mentally sometimes with a light flow. Like I'm like, oh I'm done. Like this is a sign of perimenopause. Like I'm definitely in perimenopause. I'm probably like about to hit menopause.
The eggs are out. Now the blood's out.
Exactly. And we're done now. Like we're heading towards no period. But that's my hypochondriacal inclination. And I don't want that.
So don't reinforce that line of thinking.
Last night, I thought maybe I had also a new disease.
Oh, what new disease?
Because sometimes my foot has like kind of this like this side of my foot here.
Yeah, the inside.
The inside.
Where your step
has a numbness or like a weird tingly feeling. A weird feeling.
Some kind of neuropathy.
Yeah. So yesterday I was starting to slip into, I think it's.
And you started Googling.
I didn't Google.
Oh.
But I was like, I have ALS.
Oh, that you went straight to neurological disorder.
Yes. And then I immediately thought, if I think it, I'll get it. So I can't think it.
That's right. Can't get psychosomatic
But
ALS.
then that's its own thing.
Yeah.
So I put socks on and I ignored it.
Oh, great. That's a ding, ding, ding.
Mm-hmm.
I have entered, and I think this is a real period of life.
Period, ding, ding, ding.
Period. Pun intended. I've embarked on my slipper phase of my life.
Whoa.
Yeah, I got a pair of I was recently feeling there's all these times I want to run out to grab food from the driveway or whatever. And I don't want to put on my tight shoes.
Yes.
Seemed like I was time and I got a pair of really comfortable slippers. And I'm realizing, this is a whole era of your life. Once you start walking around in slippers.
Wow. I'm shook a little bit. Like it is a real indicator of.
It's an end to an era,
age.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm prioritizing my comfort.
Wow.
And I hate bending over to put shoes on so I can just slide these on. Like it's definitely a harbinger of probably bad things to come, but also I kind of love it.
I'm glad you
I played volleyball in my slippers.
What?
It hurt my shoulder.
That's not good for volleyball.
No, but I was in them and they're comfortable. And Dad, can you practice? And then I'm just playing in my slippers.
Yeah, but slippers can be slippery.
They are slippery.
So you definitely should not play volleyball, okay?
Okay. And then additionally, as I said, my brother and my sister-in-law, and she's been in her slipper phase for 7 or 8 years.
Oh, wow. Postmenopause.
Or middle of I don't know, probably maybe related.
Okay, yeah.
But I realized she's really knows how to do it. The second we get home, like anything post-lunch, if she gets home, those slippers are on immediately.
So she packs her slippers.
She is in
on trips.
Full center of her slipper phase. And so I'm finding I'm with her at like 5:30 in the evening. She has her slippers on. I have my shoes on. And she's like, you should already have your slippers on. And I'm like, I know.
She's teaching you.
I'm not fully I haven't learned the lifestyle all the way yet.
The lifestyle.
I'm not putting them on early enough.
The lifestyle is swinging.
That's my lifestyler move is I wear slippers. I may start wearing them in here on days that we don't have how do you feel about that?
Okay, I have a question about slippers. Now, your house is tricky because even though you hate to admit it, it's dirty. Large and made of tons of houses, actually.
Okay.
So you have to walk outside to get to places, to get to your gym or to whatever.
My garage.
Yes.
This studio.
This studio, exactly. So for me, if a slipper touches the outside, it's thrown in the garbage.
That makes sense.
It's a house slipper. It is meant for inside the house, specifically so that you aren't dragging in stuff.
Yeah, and so you're outing me, but yes, I'll own it. We are a shoes on in the house family.
Yeah.
Some people will think that's disgusting.
Sure.
But what's funny is I'm actually having a harder time wrapping my head around. I might want Nashville to be a shoes off house.
Whoa.
Because I'm thinking there's going to be kids there endlessly, a yard to really play in and get dirty.
Okay.
And do I want this whole brand new house to be filthy outdoor stuff? And then I'm like, we're so not a shoes off people. I can't even, like, what that's challenging to my identity is way bigger than it should be.
Because it's like the white Christmas lights.
It is. It's like snooty and fancy.
Yep.
And what do you take your shoes off? What are you talking about?
Yeah, why do you need to fucking take your shoes off your shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that I'm a shoes on.
That. I want shoes off in Nashville, and I'm afraid to declare that.
Well, it's coinciding.
What would be if when you come over this summer and I say to you, hey, shoes by the door, I got to figure out something cute to say.
Yeah, I think you're going to need some sort of cute phrase.
Yeah, don't let our shoes get lonely. Put your shoes with them. That needs some work. But what would be your first thought when you heard me say you can't wear your shoes in the house?
If we hadn't had this pre-talk, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
At you. Like,
who are you?
Yeah. Well, and then for me, that triggers my own stuff.
He's changing. I don't know him.
Yeah, he's changing. I knew it. I knew that
this money would infect him and
not
destroy
his money,
him.
This Southern life, like
you would chalk it up to this is a Southern thing.
Just like, he has this extra house now,
so white,
and he's extra white in the South, and he's hoity-toity in the South. All the people that made me feel brown, now he's like
he's one of them.
One of them, and I thought I knew him, but I don't even know him anymore. And then I would cry.
You're teasing, and you're not, and it's true. People just assign whatever previous baggage they had to any situation. That's the explanation. It's like you've got like a handful of explanations in your life. Me, all people.
Yeah.
And then no matter what situation, you're like, it's that thing that I already figured out when I was 12.
No, but not really. It depends on who it is. Like if I go to a random house and they say shoes off, I don't think that. I'm not like, hoity-toity. I don't have that. I'm like, they just don't want dirt. But with you, because I've been around you so many times where you wear shoes in your bed, okay? So the fact
Don't say that, but
well, I've seen it. That I would be like, what?
Just to be clear on that.
On top of your bed.
On top. I have on top of my bed, and I very rarely, but there's occasions I've got like my cleaner Vans on, and I'm like, I'm not going to put my head at the bottom there at any point.
See, even this, you're even getting self-conscious about
and
this.
Getting defensive.
And you used to not care at all.
I'm changing. I'm becoming.
I guess I'm
becoming an old white man who wears slippers.
With you, I want you to wear slippers outside because it's keeping you still kind of dirty.
Shithead. Yeah, shitbird.
You're not elite.
But I have a friend who's also very famous. So anytime anyone who's really famous does something, I'm quick to associate it with them being so famous. I think that's really normal.
Okay.
Like something's different, and then you go, your brain just quickly catalogs what else is really different about them, and so that might likely be the explanation. Okay. You know your friends are Orthodox Jews, and you're at their house, and they say, "Could you please hang the towel in a," just something that's different. And you go, I bet it's about them being Orthodox. I was like, anything you don't understand, and then there's this one thing different about them, you're like, that's probably part of being Orthodox.
I guess that's true. I think it's a little different with religions because there are like rules and stuff than being famous, which is just you're still a person.
But there's also just cultural stuff. Like if something happened in your family house that was abnormal to me, I would probably go, it's probably because they're Indian.
Oh!
I would think it's from like something that your parents did,
Still,
it'd be a high probability guess.
Oh my God.
I think that's different than racism.
It's stereotypes.
Well, it is. I don't understand this custom. This custom wasn't around me where I grew up. And I know that he's from India. This custom must come from India.
Even though I grew up in the United States.
No, this is not your house. I would never be in your
at my parents'
house. But if I was at your parents' house and your dad only ate toast out of a cereal bowl, let's say.
Okay.
I go, so nobody eats toast out of a cereal bowl.
That must be Indian.
What could explain it?
Okay.
I bet in India they eat their toast in a cereal bowl. Don't you think that would be like the highest probability guess?
But this is what I am actively against.
You're fighting this, I know.
Yeah, that you just make, not you, the royal you, but you. You're calling yourself out for this,
and not
I
the
guess.
TV show you, which you also talk a lot about now.
That anything a little different is associated with being a different type of, a different ethnicity is bad.
Anything. So if I go to a nuclear physicist's house and there's something different, I go, oh, I bet this is something the engineer, I figure out the thing that I don't share in common with them. And I explain the other thing I don't share in common with them as the explanation.
Okay, but how come if my dad is eating toast out of a cereal bowl, you're not saying, oh, it's because he's an engineer?
Okay, so I might, but I'm going probabilistically. I'm first going, well, he's from a totally different country. There's 23 years of his life in a country that I don't know any of the customs on. And if I said, oh, Ashok, I noticed you're eating your toast out of a cereal bowl. That's unique. Is that an Indian thing? And he would go, no. Then I would go, okay, what's the next thing I know is he and I don't have any overlap on?
I think what I would love is, let me coach you, okay? First of all, let's never say, is that an Indian thing?
You think your dad wouldn't like that?
I don't like it.
I know you don't.
And I don't like it on behalf of him.
I know, and I would never say to you, is that an Indian thing?
I don't want you to say it to him. If I overheard that, I'd
be in trouble. I know.
You get this at me.
I would. I know that, and I know that would happen, and I wouldn't do it in front of you. Is it possible though that your dad wouldn't care about that, and that Pari wouldn't care about that?
It's about the very specific phrasing. I guess you could say. First of all, my dad doesn't care about anything. So yes, you could say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, he's not precious about
anything to maybe detriment, but I think if you were going to say it in a way that I would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Did you grow up eating
your toast in a cereal
bowl? Yeah. I've never seen that before.
And so, yeah, I would have phrased it right. Like that would be the correct way to phrase it. But all the other stuff really just happened because it's very logical.
It bums me out. Maybe because I'm in my luteal phase. But
well, I understand why it bums you out because that's an inane example of it. And then there's really bad examples of it.
Okay, hold on. It's inane to you. It's not inane to me, who's been othered by that my whole life.
It's not inane to you.
So let me.
I think it might be inane to your dad. Is my hunch.
We can't use him. He is not a good. He is not a good measure.
He's not a good man.
Now he's too good of a man. He's too good, really. Now, how about this? If I was at your house, and you ate your steak with your hand. You picked up your
a potato chip.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, more like a hamburger. You picked up the steak with two hands and bit into it and ate it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, whoa, I've never seen that. Is that something that happens in trailer parks?
Well, first of all, I don't mind that question.
Okay, what if I asked Aaron?
Yeah, he wouldn't mind either.
You would mind if I saw Aaron do something
said that to Aaron.
And I said, oh, is that like a trailer park thing?
Yes, true. Point received, but would you agree? Trailer park is never used in a positive way. It's only a burn. And you have a gut feeling of any questions about India are implicitly negative, whereas I don't associate. Is that an Indian thing? Is that a trailer park thing? To me, there's a hierarchy of judgment in, is that a trailer park thing or is that an Indian thing? Indian things is like a cultural national thing.
Because you know people who were judged for living in trailer parks. I don't.
Right.
So
I know people who are very insecure about being from a trailer park.
It's the same thing.
But I think for you it is because you're insecure about that, rightly so. But I don't think your dad is. I don't think it's an insecurity of your dad's to talk about stuff that was normal in India and different here.
I know, but you're using him as such a...
I'm hanging a lot on him, but I would also hang a lot on Pari.
I wouldn't feel comfortable with you being that open with Pari. Is that an Indian thing? We don't know him well enough. I don't know his whole relationship to being Indian. Obviously, he likes talking about it and he's comfortable with it. He's comfortable with it. But these things are complicated.
They are complicated. But it does start with what is your own feeling about the topic being brought up.
It should be the person who's experienced it that gets to dictate it.
Absolutely. Which is why I am conceding and saying I wouldn't ever ask you that.
Oh my God.
And I am making a prediction of how I think your dad would take it, which maybe is right or wrong.
So how do you think Aaron would take it?
I don't think he'd mind.
Okay. But you would mind.
I would be nervous. Well, not around you.
No, if I said it.
Yeah, if you said it, we're fine.
Oh.
Because Aaron knows you.
Yeah.
And he knows you want the best for him and you don't think poorly of him or that he's a lowlife.
No. But wouldn't you be like, what the fuck is she doing? You would. And you should. Me knowing your background, knowing his background, knowing that those things have been used against him, it would be so insensitive for me to be like, hey, is that a trailer park thing? Just because I don't understand it. And that's the different thing about us.
For sure. And also, there are some stuff you can say about trailer parks. I mean, there's a reality in the world. As I've said before, like the average level of intoxication on a weekday afternoon in Aaron's trailer park was much different than the average intoxication rate elsewhere.
Right.
You know, that is also a reality of it. So it's like what you're trying to do is be honest about the world you live in and not hurt people's feelings. And sometimes those things are against one another, if that makes sense.
If you're curious, you can ask it in a way that's not implying that it's something so, like if I saw him eat a steak with two hands, maybe I'd be like, actually, I mean, I know me. I would just be like, well, that's how he eats it.
He's a caveman. Look at him.
No.
Look at this guy go.
When you do grow up as a minority, everything's different. Like, so you don't have the luxury of being like, oh, that must be different because of this, or that must be, it's like, yeah, it's all different.
Everything's different. Now, let me ask you this though. If you walked into, like, you had your experience of living with other girls a lot as roommates, and I even went to your old apartment where you had a bunch of female roommates, and like you guys would like cook dinners together sometimes, and there's just all kinds of stuff that's kind of predictable in that scenario.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And I'm sure if you walked into an apartment that 4 dudes lived in, and you're like, oh, wow, X, Y, and Z is different. There's a bong on the table. There's dishes in the sink. Your brain would logically, and rightly so, I think, go, well, this is a much different scenario in here. What's different? And it would be right for you to go like, oh, yeah, this is boys.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's an explanation for it. And I think you would be right and logical to start with what's the biggest difference between you and your 3 roommates and these 4 people. Well, this is 4 dudes and that's 4.
But the difference is that's correct. The toast out of the bowl and the eating the steak with 2 hands are not because of what you're...
We don't know though.
Well,
right?
I do know that that's not an Indian tradition.
Well, I know because it was made up. He doesn't do it.
Yeah. And either is eating steak with 2 hands. But the whole point is like, wait, because what you're bringing up is something that you really don't you're like, oh, that's new. Seeing a bong in basically a frat house isn't new. I've seen
but
that.
if it's just trashed inside and you're trying to figure out why these people live in a trash place and you and your friends don't, I think it would be right of you, if your life depended on it, to make a prediction of why it's different. To assume it's because they're boys and you're girls.
Listen, I think if you came into my parents' house and they had a picture of Krishna on the wall, I think you could probably and definitely deduce that that's because they're Indian.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you can see like a bouncy ball in water on the counter and say, oh, that must be Indian too.
For sure. I think what both things are true and absolutely legitimate is A, you should treat people as they're an individual, and the thing that you're experiencing could be their own individual idiosyncraticness. Mm-hmm. That would be the fairest way to treat everyone. And that's valid, and I agree. Also, groups of people have patterns. Mm-hmm. Also a reality.
They do. But for the most part, we know those already. Like, we've been taught those and told those already. So, like, yes, if my mom is making curry. Yeah, you could say to yourself, like it would be reasonable to think, yeah, that's because she's Indian and she grew up eating curry and that's an Indian dish. All of that makes sense. And those are stereotypes, so that's tricky, but it's real. That's real.
Yeah, it's just,
that's normal. I'm fine with that. I'm just not fine with arbitrary, that's different, so it must be because of.
I understand your objection to that.
Okay.
But do you also agree that might be the highest probability explanation just across the board?
No, I don't.
Like, I had to be friends with lots of Jewish people before it went from, I noticed one friend had this thing hanging in his door frame and he touched it every time he went in his house. Mm-hmm. At first, that was just, John has a thing he's hung up that he touched.
Sure.
Then 4 other Jewish friends along the way who have it. And then I go like, oh, yeah, that's a Jewish thing.
Yes. So I think that's the right train of thought. You see it and you assume that it's actually individual to the person. It's just
John's thing.
Yes. And then over time, when you see a pattern, then over time, you're like, oh, this is cultural. Mm-hmm. But that's the correct order, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sometimes life's moving really fast and you got like one stab at it.
No, you don't.
And you kind of go the highest probability.
No, you don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Ashok, I love you.
I love you, Dad.
And everything you do, I love. And if I saw something I didn't understand, I would still love it. I just would be curious if that was his own unique invention or if that's like he's 4th generation of toast in a bowl.
Well, look, here's an interesting. So a lot of Indians they eat with their hands.
Okay.
So they eat like rice with their hands.
Mm-hmm. And they got the naan going too. They're scooping with some bread. They get their fingers in there.
Yeah, depending. Sometimes there's naan. There's, but sometimes not. Like they're eating with their hands. Yeah. That's a very common way to eat in India. My grandparents did that. That's how they ate.
Well, they did.
Yes, and my dad too, although I haven't seen that in years.
Now, really quick. So when you were over there and you noticed, grandma and grandpa eat with their hands, were you like, grandma and grandpa are interesting? Or were you like, that's got to be an Indian thing?
I mean, I was so little. There's no way for me to know that. So anyway, I guess I would hope that you would have seen it a couple times before you assumed it.
Yeah.
But this is an interesting one because it's true. It's real. That's a cultural difference.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what you're trying to beat out in your head and figure out what, I think your impulse is to like explain stuff. I mean, I think, let's start with like things we agree on. Everyone's impulse is making sense of reality around them.
Yeah.
Like that's just your number one job from the second you wake up. It's like, I came in this room and this is going on. Why is this going on? Yeah. I need to,
I think approaching it with like true curiosity that doesn't have any judgment or otherness around it. Like I do think phrasing it as, did you grow up eating toast in a bowl?
Yeah.
Or did you grow up eating with your hands is different than, is that a insert group thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for anyone who wants to practice.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Look. Life is a lot of phrasing.
It's a lot of judgment calls. It's a lot of how you phrase things.
Yes, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to be honest about acknowledging what the real process is in my head. Like I'm trying to be honest about the fact that when I see something that I've never seen before, my 100th of a second, right? Like the frontal lobe's not even involved. Mm-hmm. It went, that's different. What could explain it? What's the other thing I know about us that's different? Maybe that's the explanation. That is like from almost the moment I see it, that math happens.
Yeah.
And then the frontal lobe goes, well, is that a stereotype? Is that offensive? Is that this? Is it that? And then you hope to land with a high percentage that you were on the right side of it.
Well, hopefully you just keep your mouth shut until the second part of your brain has done the other thing.
That's the goal. The space between your emotions and your actions.
The initial thought. We can't control the initial thought.
That's all I'm trying to cop to.
There's nothing we can do about our initial thoughts.
Okay, great. I get a little scared that I even like my initial thoughts are offensive and then I'm kind of just a bad, like you think I'm a bad person.
We all do this.
I commit to like working through all the other steps.
Yeah. That's all that's being asked in any of these like racism or stereotypes or any of these things. Like you can't help your initial thought. You have it and then you think, is that right?
Yeah.
And that's how you get to having, I think, those thoughts less over time.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think when you and I talk about race openly, it's wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah.
We can because there's trust.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully it's good for people to hear because it's hard to find someone you trust to talk about race with because there's a lot of explosive.
It also, again, it's so much of where you come from. It's like Joy grew up with her people.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so she loves to talk about it.
Yeah.
She's happy to engage in it with pretty much anyone, whether or not she's even earned that.
Yeah.
And it's simply, so what you'd be inclined to think is like, there's something predictable about being a minority in this country. Well, no, there's something predictable if you're a minority in this country and you're surrounded by the hegemonic group.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said if you know.
Yeah. But also if she was talking to certain people, I mean, the way Joy talks about it, she's with you, there's like fun and it's funny and stuff.
Yeah.
But she can get very serious about race.
Oh, she's dead serious about the inequity.
Exactly. And she is not going to be afraid
She likes to because she's so skilled at pointing these things out. But yeah, she's never seemingly, she's never triggered in some inferiority way.
Right.
She's like, oh, you think that's broken. And I can't wait to, there's like, she doesn't seem to. But I mean, she got to grow up with her people.
She did, but she's also lived a life. She went to an Ivy League school. She lived a life where she was around
she did a
lot of white people. Yeah.
She did boarding school.
I'm sure there's elements.
There's some complication for sure.
Yeah. I don't think you can be a minority in this country and not have some level of like.
It is just fun to think about what your homeostasis would be if you grew up with all the Indians in the Indian neighborhood. And what would my homeostasis be like if I was the only white person in all Indians or all black people or whatever? It just, I think it proves the point that we are always saying, which is like, you're not you're a product of.
So many things.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
But real quick.
Yeah.
Speaking of cultures.
Yeah.
Callie, Max, and I went to Dantana's, which is an institutional restaurant in Los Angeles.
Which I've talked about a bunch on here because I like to go with Nate.
Yeah.
And what did you think?
I loved it.
You did?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay, I need to know more because what I like about it, as I've told you, is it is time traveling.
It is. It's old school Italian. It has mob energy.
It's super Hollywood 80s.
Yes.
I mean, the steaks are named after famous actors. You got the Debney steak. You got the...
I didn't notice that.
Did you not notice all the... I
didn't look at the
they're known
meats.
What ones?
I didn't look at the meats.
Oh, you didn't?
No, because it's an Italian place. I'm getting pasta.
They're kind of known for their what's the thing that people are against eating a cow? It's veal. And there's like 8 or 10 veals on the menu, but all with different movie stars' names.
Wow.
And famously, James Woods was behind us eating the James Woods.
Oh, that's right. I thought that was at Musso and Frank.
No, that was Dantana's.
Oh, fun.
But you liked it.
I loved it.
Were there any 85-year-old men with 21-year-old women?
Oh, shoot.
Because that's still thriving there, which is so fascinating to see.
I didn't notice, but at some point in the night, a group came in that was dressed like to the nines, looking kind of mob bossy.
Ooh.
And then our server, who obviously had been sort of like a lifetime server there, he was giving us the intel that they come at like 9 or between 9 and 10 every night, and they order the same thing and they get fettuccine for the table.
I love it.
I know. It was really, really fun. And
did you have a cool cocktail? Because that bar.
I had a martini.
Might be the coolest bar in all of LA. I mean, more shit has happened at that bar than probably any other bar in LA.
It was so fun. And one bad thing happened. He'll probably be mad at me for sharing this because it was a blunder.
Okay. Thigh guy?
Yeah, Thigh Guy Max. He's kind of like you, I think, in a I'm worried things are going to run out.
Oh, sure.
So I guess last time they got a Caesar.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, this is
wasn't
not
enough.
This is not enough Caesar. Okay.
Scary. Yeah. I can feel it.
So for his entree, he got double Caesar salad.
Okay.
And Callie and I got individual Caesars as our starters.
Mm-hmm.
So they bring our starters, and I look at this, and I think Max is getting 2 of these.
Because it was huge.
It was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had trapped himself because he was like, that wasn't the size of it last time. And the Caesar that arrived was so...
It's like a large pizza.
It was enormous and piled up so high.
No.
And he couldn't really wait for his, like he was like too hungry. So we had some of mine and some of Callie's before his enormous Caesar arrived.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then
he really painted himself into a
corner. He did, because then he was like, I have to eat it. Like, I made this crazy mistake.
Yeah.
And it looks crazy if I don't. Like, the people are going to be pissed if I don't.
I love that we think that, as if they're thinking at all about
well,
what we do.
Then our server came because he said, is this the size it was? And he said, yeah, that's always been the size. Yeah, the guy in the back was like 2.
Okay, so they are.
Yeah, they're judging.
Okay.
Anyway, he ate pretty much all of it. He had to leave a little bit, but when you factor in the fact that he had some of mine and Callie's, he had more than 2 Caesars.
And what do you have for an entree?
That was his entree.
He didn't go a steak either.
No, he didn't. We got some appetizers, but
okay. I'm so glad. When was this? Last night?
Oh, it was
a couple months ago.
Yeah, it was Sunday.
It was Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was really fun.
Yeah, that's a fun place.
I need to be better at not, like, I want to go back tonight.
Yeah.
And then I want to go back in 5 more days. Like, I've been doing that with Sunset Tower. I've been going a little, like, a lot.
Okay, yeah.
And I order an interesting martini. I order one with a lemon twist and an orange twist. Unconventional. I invented it.
Okay.
And so.
Never been done.
So when I went last time and I ordered that, he was like, oh, yeah, I remember you.
Oh, now he's got you.
Yeah. And he was like, when were you here? Like 2 weeks ago? And I was like, yeah. But really, it was like
5 days ago.
Yeah. I had to lie.
Is he a suitor now?
No.
Sounds like he's a suitor.
No, he's not. He's not. He was a nice man, but
okay.
No. Anywho, I guess that's it. I do have an update. I haven't decided if I'm going to share it. So that's TBD. Keep listening.
Sure.
All right, let's do some facts.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by Domino's. You know, I have the app.
Me too.
It's not talked about in this ad spot, but I do got to give a shout out to the lava cakes. They're outrageous.
I want it right now.
At long last, Domino's finally has stuffed crust pizza, and not just stuffed crust, Parmesan stuffed crust.
Oh man, what are you waiting for?
Who doesn't love a little Parmesan? Nobody. That's who. It's hard to believe it's taken them this long to make a stuffed crust pizza, but let me tell you, this was worth the wait. They've taken their buttery flavored handmade pan pizza dough and stuffed it with melty cheese. And if that wasn't enough, they topped it with garlic seasoning and, yes, real Parmesan.
I can taste it.
I love mine smothered with pepperoni.
Ooh.
Oh, the more the better. Okay, all this talk about Domino's has got me hungry, and I think I've got tonight's dinner plans all figured out. Order Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza on the Domino's app and use code DAX to get any 3-topping Parmesan stuffed crust pizza for $11.99. That's code DAX on the Domino's app to try it today. Prices higher in some locations. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Delivery orders subject to local stores delivery charge.
Okay, facts for Cristin. It's so weird that her name's Cristin. Is it weird for you?
Well, because it's spelled the way it is. There's a lot of leeway in the way where people are spelling Cristin.
I don't think of her as Cristin because of the way it's spelled.
Right.
But then when we were saying her name, I was like, oh, yeah. This is a dumb story.
No, it's a good one. But Cristin, Cristin.
I know what you mean. I think the same exact thing.
Thanks.
I didn't realize it was even pronounced Cristin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cristin. Now, my ex-girlfriend, Bree, too. She had a very novel spelling of Bree.
Yeah, how'd she spell it?
Still does. Briegh.
Briegh, yeah.
Everyone gets to, do it however they like.
Parents get funky when they're making spellings up.
I know. Yeah, it's an interesting impulse. It's like, I'm going to give them a name that a lot of people have, but I'm going to spell it uniquely.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Callie has that a little bit. She always has to say Callie with a K.
And an I.
Well, so now's
that was a great time to tell you.
Actually, yeah, I think
I have stress every time I text you about Callie. I'm like, is it KH? Is it KH?
See, yeah, it's a hard name.
Yeah.
I actually find it very endearing because I think it has to do with your dyslexia.
Okay.
But because you always spell it Kali, and you're so close.
Oh, what do I need?
It's Kalie.
Oh, easy. I can.
But I always think it's funny because you do it, and then I'll respond back with her name, kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
Spelled correctly.
Yes. Try gently tell me.
Yeah. I think one day he'll see that he's been doing that wrong. And then.
Yes, I was with Callie instead of saying I was with her.
Yeah, Callie said this.
Yeah.
And then you haven't noticed that. But so I guess now the cat's out of the bag. I think
I've noticed it, and then I'll remember it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like a month later when I want to text about Callie.
Yeah.
I don't try to go back and find it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this will be the learning moment where I get it, i.e. I can handle that. I have this same issue with Seth's wife, Claire. Every time I seem to write Claire, I pick the wrong one.
How does she?
Well, because you could go Clair or Clare.
Oh.
And it's one of those two, and I generally get it wrong.
Clare is unconventional.
That's hers.
That's hers.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's unconventional.
Yeah, and Seth he doesn't do what you do. He's even more direct. He's like, it is, like he corrects me.
He gets upset, do you think?
I just think he's
defensive.
No, I think he's a very respectful, integrity person, and he wants to correct you if you're not spelling his wife's name right.
Wow. Okay, two sides of two different coins, I guess, because I feel like I'm being respectful by not telling you because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I think they're both valid. They're valid points of view.
Okay. What is interesting about the way people spell names is sometimes the spelling does make me like the name in a way that I didn't previously like it.
Sure.
In fact, Claire being one. I really like the spelling Clare.
That changes it for you.
Now I love it.
Yeah. Maybe you'll name your daughter Claire.
No, it's like we spell Calvin weird.
How do you spell it?
Calvighn.
No, you don't.
No.
That's a lie. Robin is his lies.
He tells so many lies. And when I'm watching you, there's so many lies to juggle.
Oh, so yours is swimming in deception.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of when I asked if he's protective, Seth, the guy in you, he's so protective that he has to murder.
Oh, too protective.
Yeah. I could see you sliding down that scale a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of want you to watch it to see if you kind of can relate.
We had an expert. He's coming up, and it's really fucked up the whole way I process the world, and I'm frustrated by it, and I know it's the right thing to do. But a guy, we're having an expert on about rage addiction.
Yeah.
And once it's fully framed for you, what's going on in your head and the science behind it, it's a bummer. Because I do like there's some level of vigilantism I like.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Me too. Look, we all do. We all love the story of Robin Hood a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But again, this circles back to our other fact check. In reality, no. Like, no. Revenge is bad and it's a poison.
Yeah. And forgiveness is very good for your brain.
Yeah.
It stops this back and forth cycle.
Yes.
It's just the right thing. And I kind of hate it. It's taking the fun out of, like these movies that are just great. It's like you kidnap Liam Neeson's daughter and he's going to fucking kill you. And we love that. That's so clean. You should get killed if you kidnap someone's daughter.
When I was home for Mother's Day, I was watching Dateline, obviously, with my parents because they just can't get enough of that.
Yeah. Are they particularly into Keith Morrison the way we are? Or do they not have preferences?
No, there's no preference.
Oh wow, I don't like that.
As much as they can consume, they will. In fact, I probably can't say this, but there was something happen. There's something happening in the family-ish, a good thing, but that my mom was like, well, you got to be careful because people can get really crazy. And she like devised this whole plan in her head of how
someone would get murdered.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It could lead you to believe there's more murders going on than there are.
Correct.
Yeah.
There was a man who killed a girl, like a 18-year-old or whatever, who killed another 18-year-old.
Okay.
Or maybe he was 19 or something, whatever. He killed someone and like, he's up to get out a lot, but the mom and the sister keep going in and basically making sure he stays in jail.
Yeah.
And I understand. Of course I understand. But there was a part of me, and I was like, I mean, maybe it's time to let him out.
Yeah.
And I was saying that, and my mom was so disturbed by me saying that. And I was like, Mom, his brain wasn't even developed. It's not developed till you're 25. And she's like, well, if you were the sister, and I was like, of course. If I'm the sister, I want that person to rot in jail.
That's right.
So I get it.
Yeah. But it's been taking the fun out of some normal fantasies I play with.
Yeah, like having like empathy. Having empathy kind of ruins vigilantism.
Yeah. Just owning what's going on in my brain.
Can you give an example?
Well, I think of all these scenarios all the time. That's what I fantasize about.
Killing?
No, but like protecting.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Forcing someone to apologize. All these just taking care of everyone and sheriffing.
Right.
And so I have all these bizarre fantasies. And then I just have to now go like, right, so you're hurt or someone else is hurt and your inclination is not to soothe, it's to hurt.
Right.
And that'll somehow erase the hurt. And it doesn't and it won't. And it's less fun, my imagination now. And I'm kind of angry. Kind of like
it's a cycle then.
Yeah, like there's so many things I've had to stop doing on this show. Like be disparaging about BDP people, be disparaging, right? Even the sociopath, we had a sociopath on. I am like, oh, fuck, I kind of feel bad for sociopaths.
Yeah,
but I don't like it. I mean, I like it. I think it's good. It's a good direction. But I've
been thinking about this a lot. I think this show has fundamentally made me a fully different person. I was so, yes, that person needs to rot it. Like, I would never have ever thought for a second, like, maybe it's time to let that guy out.
Yeah. What's our goal? Do we want to punish or keep people safe?
Yeah. And I think it has to do with the amount of stories we've heard and the amount of people we've gotten to talk to. I wonder who I'd be without it. I didn't know. My mom and brother, we were at dinner and I was doing this about somebody or something. And they were like, ugh, you always see the best in people. Like they were saying it kind of annoyed.
Yeah, like you're naive or.
Yeah, or just like, we know you want to look at that perspective. Yeah. But this is what we want to talk about, the bad thing. Yeah. And I would never, I am not someone who was born thinking the best of people.
Right.
So that's something new and I'm grateful for it.
So I wouldn't even say mine is that I now think the best of people. It's that I much more understand, or I think I understand, how bad the person had it to begin with that ended them there.
Yes, that
like
some
I still think
things
they're
aren't
bad,
choices.
but I think there's, I think they're not bad in quotes, but
I guess that's the lesson. Like I don't think people are bad. I think you become who you become based on experience and things you can't control.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's hard.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard after you know that.
Yeah, I feel like I can only be like ethically judgmental of someone that's got the exact same scenario as me. Like I'm free to say, no, you should be doing better with this set of circumstances. But beyond that, I really have no business saying what level they have should have risen to.
Yeah, and that applies to everyone. That applies to the person whose family was hurt. They've been through something that causes them to act the way they act. Anyway, okay, so some facts. What is the Jersey Devil?
What is the Jersey Devil?
In South Jersey and Philadelphia folklore in the U.S., the Jersey Devil, also known as the Leeds Devil, a legendary creature or cryptid said to inhabit the forests of the Pine Barrens in South Jersey. The creature is often described as flying biped. It
looks kind of cute, actually.
With hooves, but there are many variations.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a smiling reptile, but with ram horns and chicken legs and dragon wings.
Yeah, bat-like wings, it says.
Yeah.
The origin of the legend, though a woman named Leeds was giving birth to her 13th child and exclaimed, "Let the child be the devil." The child, though born normally, immediately grew wings, tail, and claws and flew out of the Pine Barrens.
That's all you got to do is say, let him be the devil, and that you can convert
If you're Mrs. Leeds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How much is a pedicab ride in New York-ish? Through Times Square, a short ride within Times Square might cost $15 to $30, while a more extensive tour could range from $40 to $150 per person. It's kind of steep.
Pricey way to get around town.
Yeah, but fast.
Super fast.
Because you get to go in between.
Right.
Record for how long someone was in a Broadway show. The record for the longest time spent by an actor in a single Broadway show is held by George Lee Andrews, who performed The Phantom of the Opera for 23 years.
Oh, my Lord.
From 1987 to 2011.
Whoa.
He performed a total of 9,382 performances.
Oh, my God.
During his tenure, he played multiple roles, including ensemble members and the roles of Monsieur Firmin and Monsieur Andre.
9,000 performances?
Yeah.
I'm like still so proud of us for 900 episodes, and now I feel like a weakling.
Yeah. And do you think it's one of those things when you've done something so much that if like he forgets a line in his 7,000th performance, he's probably so afraid of dementia.
Oh.
He's like, how could I've been doing this 7,000
I bet he could
times.
most certainly do that role, soup to nuts, and never once be present on stage.
Yeah.
Like it completely in his mind, thinking about other stuff. I'm sure his subconscious could do that performance.
Yeah.
And he's just probably in La La Land for 2 hours.
But he loves the theater.
Or he's addicted to that cheddar.
I don't think that's what he's addicted to.
I think he's addicted to
They don't
cheddar.
make much money. But that reminds me, sometimes I forget the gate code to your house. And I think every time I forget, I think like, oh, I'm ill. Like something's wrong.
Yeah.
How could I possibly forget this thing I do every day? I then have to look it up.
Sure. Yeah.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah. I get scared like that. Yeah. And that stuff happens to me.
Does it?
Yeah. And now we're being monitored. So it's like I have the thought, it's like I cannot think of a name of someone I know very well.
Yeah.
And then I go, well, I guess the next cognition test we have for our Alzheimer's thing is just going to show that, yes, I'm in deep
decline.
Yes.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's comforting or not comforting that we will find out. I can't decide that. Like normally you'd just be having these thoughts in a vacuum, and then you'd probably convince yourself later that you'd be thinking sharp that day and you'd be like, oh no, nothing's going on. But we're going to be told.
Well, unless we don't decline.
Correct.
Which is the goal, is to be doing all these other things.
I mean, we're going to decline.
But not to a scary, hopefully not to a scary level.
Some days it feels like it's happening at a scary pace.
I think it's when it's like gloomy out.
And that's when you...
It's more weather-based. Okay, this Warner Brothers situation where there are shows that are gone.
Yeah.
Is true. And yeah, you can't watch Westworld. I looked on Max today. You can't find, it's not there. You can like go to Amazon Prime and buy it.
You can.
Yeah. But you can't watch it on Max.
That's so weird.
I know. Also, now it's HBO Max again. Did you hear this?
No.
Now
they've gone back to.
Yes.
By the way, I always said HBO was the crown jewel, not Max. I don't know why they didn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, I heard it was just some guy's idea who had power, and then they did it, and then obviously it never worked. Like people wouldn't say it right, or
you still say it's on HBO.
Yeah, people would say HBO, and so it's HBO Max again. And if we have to re-download that shit, I'm gonna be pissed.
But it would be like Mercedes buying Dodge and then deciding to rename all this Mercedes Dodge. That makes no sense. You
want to stick with your most prestigious name. I know. Yeah. Home box office.
I think maybe they got excited that Max sounds like the maximum amount of content.
Well, they didn't want it to just be HBO, obviously, because there's more there.
Right.
But HBO Max seems good to me.
TJ Maxx.
But it was HBO, then HBO Max, then Max, right?
HBO Go.
HBO Go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
John Oliver does a whole bit on the last episode of all the different names.
That's really funny. They are having fun with it, though. They have, like, obviously some, like, Gen Z person running their social media because they're, like, putting funny...
Burning themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. But it's been making me sign in a lot lately, and I wonder if that's related to this name change. It's been challenging.
Probably.
Do we have to download another fucking app, or are they just going to update the current
That's
one?
what I was just said.
We're so intolerant. Used to be like you had to catch the show live or you didn't see it. Now it's like,
you have to.
I had to sign in.
I know. Okay, I was going to play just a teeny clip of her on 30 Rock. She mentions a character she plays that's like wild. And it is wild.
I knew I smelled sausage.
Yes. Abby? I'm Liz.
Liz! Thank you! Oh, our nips just touched. Mine are so hard.
Mine are different sizes.
Okay, that's all I'll play. But yeah, she's a very silly. That 30 Rock is such a fucking good show.
Yeah, it's almost like in some ways underappreciated.
Yeah. There she is.
Oh, yeah. Our nips just touched. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great show. Tina Fey, one of the great talents of all time.
Okay. I found this weird thing. She said, what's it called when you feel forever 27?
Mm-hmm. That has a name.
So then I looked it up and it said the phenomenon of feeling forever 27 or experiencing a fascination with the idea of never aging beyond a certain age is often connected to the 27 Club, a cultural concept referencing celebrities who died at the age of 27.
Yeah.
The idea, while rooted in tragedy, has also become a symbol of a certain rebellious energy and a desire to hold on to youth.
Live fast and die young.
I guess. Isn't
Who's
that
the list?
weird?
Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
Amy Winehouse, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. Well, we know that Belushi and Chris Farley made it to 33, the age of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not on here.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. We did talk about astrology, so I did real quick
Yeah, of course.
do today's astrology. CoStar is the app I use. Let's see what it says today.
It's my
1 hour
preferred app.
ago. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who, Capricorn, will discreetly tell you if you have food stuck in your teeth.
Wouldn't everyone like that? You'd like that, right?
No, I'll be embarrassed. I do
You'd
want it.
You'd rather have food
No,
stuck
I
in your
don't.
teeth?
I want it, but I don't want it either.
Okay. You don't want the solution to it.
You don't. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who, me, Virgo, reliably uses the correct there.
Oh, sure.
Okay, that adds up. Wait, Rob, what are you?
Gemini, I think.
Uh-oh.
Rob, actually, that makes total sense.
Oh, yeah.
That makes total sense that you're a Gemini.
Such a Gemini.
The twins. One's a rascal.
Oh.
Aren't they the twins? I think they are. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who shares the passwords to all of their streaming accounts.
I think people tell me I'm more of a Cancer than a Gemini because I'm running the edge.
Okay. You don't have high standards. You just want someone who can listen without sharing a tangentially related story.
Who can listen without sharing
tangentially. I don't think so. I don't know many people like that. Kristin's a Cancer. And my mom.
She only tells tangential.
Well, but she wants, no. So this is saying she wants to be able to tell you a story and you not go on a tangent with your own story. Basically everything we do here.
Yeah. And I don't think that's true. I don't know if that's true of Aaron either, but maybe. I'll ask him. I think he likes a tangential story as well.
I'll ask Anna. I'll ask my mom.
So many Cancers.
I do have a lot of...
July and August, big birthday months.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Coming up.
That's right around the corner.
All right, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it for Cristin?
Yeah, that's it for Cristin with a C.
All right. Love you.
Love you.